This is Florida soil. It is super sandy, and because of the constant humidity in the air, it just sticks to everything. I'm tired of getting dirty just for coming out here and having my morning coffee. So I like to have something that connects to my raised deck and the stairs. And of course, I already came up with a solution. So today, we're building a platform. Follow me and lass uns anfangen.
There's dirt on my hands, strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
As you can tell, the problem isn't just that the sand gets stuck to me. It also gets stuck to all of the furniture I built, making it constantly look dirty. And I don't like that. So this will be raised on a platform as well. And this is the space that I would like to put a platform in. So once I come down the stairs, I have something to step onto, and then I can sit on my chair. And of course, I try to do it as cheap as possible. So I went to Home Depot and purchased those pieces of lumber. A bunch of deck boards, I think it's 11. And then I purchased pressure-treated 2x4s. The last few times as I built decks, I always used at least 2x6s. But this is just going to be a small platform and it's barely going to be raised off the ground. So that should be sufficient. Let's start by cleaning up an area large enough to accommodate the platform build. It's always been such a pain to cut the grass underneath the chairs, so I'm happy from now on they will be raised up from the ground, which makes the lawn care much easier going forward. You might remember a while back I built those chairs in a video. I did not use any pressure-treated lumber on purpose, but I knew that it would give me some extra work down the road. Since those chairs have been outdoors in the elements for over a year now, I think it's time to refresh them as well. But that's a job for future me. For now, let's concentrate on the platform build. And of course, I wanted to use my Milwaukee miter saw for this build. Well, it was really not needed. I did end up cutting most of the lumber with my circular saw. Which is really upsetting is that I actually have one of those miter saw stands with wheels on them to move them easily on job sites. But it's in Nevada, and since I've had no chance to bring it to Florida yet, I have to work with what I got. I laid out a design to know where exactly I had to cut the pieces. I wanted to make the platform as big as possible without having much cut off. To cover the 2x4s that will raise the platform, I decided to go with the cover plates all around it, almost like a picture frame. That means that the longest piece will be the cover plate in front and in the back. Those are the only two pieces that I will not cut. Again, to have the least waste, I cut one of the deck boards in half. This will be the width of the platform. All of the other pieces will have to be cut to fit inside a picture frame or box or whatever you want to call it. As already mentioned earlier, I did buy 11 deck boards, however I was one short, so I needed a total of 12. Each deck board cost me $6.48, making it a total of $77.76 for the deck boards. As for the 2x4s, I paid $4.68 each, making it $23.40. This makes it a total for all of the lumber of $101.76. So not bad at all for a build like this, however remember you still have to buy some screws. For the screws, I used some of those framing screws that I had left from the raised deck build that I built a few videos back, so I used those. Since they were not enough, I added a few more regular deck screws to the build. Again, those were leftovers from the deck and stair build. I started by building the bottom frame of the platform. That meant screwing the 2x4s together. I spaced the lumber 16 inches apart on center. Make sure when you do screw the pieces together that they line up on top. If not, you will have problems later on when you attach the deck boards. You don't want them to be uneven. To level the platform and raise it slightly off the ground, I'm using cinder blocks that I found laying around on the property as I bought it. For the center, I purchased those plastic deck supports a while back that I wanted to give a try. They cost me $28 for a pack of 10. Again, the link is in the description below if you'd like to check them out. They're adjustable, so I can easily level them. Probably not needed for a deck like this, however I wanted to make sure that this deck does not wobble. I like it bomb and fast. So they were perfect for this build. They're easily attached to the deck with 2 screws. I raised the outside frame pieces to the height of the deck boards, so the deck boards will fit in nicely and it will give the whole platform a nice and clean look. And here are the cinder blocks that I've talked about previously. This was probably the hardest part of the build. I had to make sure the cinder blocks are in level and at the right height. I dug some holes to place in the cinder blocks. Then I placed the deck on top of it to see how it would look, and I think that height would be perfect. Then I dug holes and added the other 3 cinder blocks at the same height. But before, I needed some refreshment. As you can tell, I'm melting away. I have to admit I'm somewhat addicted to flavored seltzer waters. I used to drink a lot of Coke as I was younger, and I don't have to tell you how bad it is for you. So I replaced that with flavored bubbly water a few years ago, and I just love it. This platform isn't going anywhere. It's super sturdy, as you can tell. Are you also noticed me by those staples left on the price tags from Home Depot? Most pieces don't just have one staple, sometimes they have as many as 8 staples in one piece, and my OCD has to remove them all. So annoying. To fit the deck boards into the frame, I had to cut off a tiny bit on the ends. The simple way to do this is to use a circular saw and a speed square to get those straight cuts. As I built the raised deck and stairs, I just used regular deck screws and attached the boards from the top, but I don't really like the look of the screws, so I wanted to try something different. I saw this cami system that guides the screws in on the side. I never used it before, but it seemed really cool, because the screws are completely hidden, so I had to try it out. Do you have any experience with it? Do the screws loosen up or break through the boards after a while? It's pretty simple to use. You just slide a clamp onto the board and insert a screw on each side. And then you just screw them in. It's really simple and the screws are completely hidden, which is awesome. I will keep you definitely updated on how it does over time. Since my ground is not level, I had a larger gap in front. I live in Florida and we have a lot of critters that like to build their residences underneath decks. To avoid this, I added a strip of wood on the bottom. Then later we'll raise the sand around it to make sure it's completely in the ground, so there are no easy gaps for new tenants to move in. As for the finish, I used the same stain as I used on the steps. I know it does look a little bit off, but once it dries and ages, it will change a little bit of color. But I have to admit, I also might not have had stirred the stain enough, and it might never 100% blend in. My bad. But we will see what happens in the future. And we are fertig! Wow, another project in the books. And this one I will get a lot of use out of. I absolutely love my new platform. I just love building things that add value to my life. And this one definitely does. What do you think? Please leave me a comment, like and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so, please click the bell button to get notified of new videos. If you can, please join my Patreon. This helps me create more YouTube videos. See you next time. Tschüss und auf Wiedersehen.